Hey, real dealers, this is Charles Blair, the Mad Scientist, and I'm going to take you on a journey. I'm going to break down my top 5 motivated seller courthouse hacks. Let's go. Okay, as you can see, we are currently in Miami Beach. This is definitely not Baltimore. My wife and I are vacationing. We just got off of our 5th annual Real Deal Meetup cruise, which made me think, what could I really do to blow out this video? My top 5 motivated sellers courthouse hacks for you guys. Now, I want you to keep in mind that a lot of you are using tools such as PropStream, REI Pro, and so on. Now, there's nothing wrong with those tools. Let me be the first one to tell you that there's nothing wrong with those tools. My company have been using PropStream and had great success with PropStream, and I've also looked at REI Pro as well. Now, the key to those tools is the information, and this is where my REI strategy that I'm going to break down to you right now is going to come into play. I want you to understand that when you're dealing with courthouse records and you're dealing with public records, the information is not always uploaded or updated on a regular basis. For example, some of the information in PropStream could be 15, 30, 45 days old. In order for you to get that information in real time, you have to go to the courthouse itself and get that information. Now, what I love about my top 5 motivated seller courthouse hacks is that it incorporates the process of getting the information in real time. For all my Maryland investors, this is going to be huge for you. Now, for the individuals who are out of state, who are not in Maryland, I'm quite sure there are public information sites similar to the ones that I'm going to be talking about right now in this video. So let's go ahead and get started. Hack number 1 is one of my favorite ones. It's eviction filings. Inside of Maryland, we have a site called Judicial Case Search, and you're able to actually search for records from the Judicial Case Search for landlords who had filed for eviction. Think about that. A landlord who has filed for eviction is likely to have a property that they may be interested in selling. So when you use Judicial Case Search in Maryland, you're able to find these landlords and market to them for their actual opportunities, see if they want to sell. What I'm looking for when I find that landlord, when I'm talking to that landlord, I'm looking for a motivated landlord that fits my avatar. My perfect avatar is that landlord who's owned the property for about 3 years or less, and then that landlord has now filed for eviction. Ideally, they're out of state. Maybe they're coming from Washington, D.C. or New York, and they have a property here in Maryland. I'm looking for that landlord that filed for eviction, and I'm finding that information inside of Judicial Case Search, inside of the Maryland Public Records site. That's number 1. Number 2, public information on pre-foreclosures. You can go into Baltimore City Courthouse and get daily updates of individuals that are being filed on for foreclosure. As opposed to going to the sites, once again, I'm not knocking PropStream. Some of those sites can give you that information that is basically 2, 3, 5 weeks old when they get it. Because in Maryland, it doesn't always come up to the actual recordation phase until several weeks down the road. So if you're the investor and you're getting that information before everybody else, guess what? You're going to get the deal before everybody else. So you go after pre-foreclosures. It's a hot topic. It's a very cumbersome process. But when you are dealing with that homeowner first, you'll have the opportunity to get the deal before anyone else. Number 3, and this is a good one, individuals that have filed for divorce. Those individuals are individuals that you can go after who have a house in the actual divorce, the male or female, and now they file for divorce, and now that property is behind on payments because not one of the spouse can handle that payment. You have two spouses originally handling the payment, now you only have one. You can find those cases, again, in judicial case search and a lot of different public record sites. So that's 3 right there, and I got 2 more fantastic sources for you. But I want to remind you, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. This is Charles Blair, the Mad Scientist, and I'm going to give it to you raw, live, in effect. Now, number 4, this is a real powerful one. You can use the PACER website, which is for recordation for bankruptcy. There's a status that's called there's a status that's called relief of stay. When you have a relief of stay in a bankruptcy, that means that that person is now wanting, or that lender is now would like to file foreclosure on that property and remove it from the bankruptcy. So they call that a relief of stay. If you go to the judge calendar and the actual PACER website, you can pull up individual calendars of judges and you can see any cases that's being called for relief of stay. That means that the lender would like the judge to take the property out of bankruptcy and allow you to go ahead and buy that property from that homeowner while it's out of bankruptcy, taking it over subject to, taking it over rent to own, making those payments and so on. That's a gold mine right there, guys. Number 5 is one of my favorite approaches, is when you take the actual process of a second lien. And you can get this information from a site like MD Land Records, where you're able to pull up the records of liens that's on properties. Look at a property that has a second lien on it, that is behind in mortgage, or should I say behind on payments. When you have a second lien that's behind on payments, you can approach that lien holder and see if they want to sell that lien. Most of the time, those liens are being sold for 5, 10, 15 cents on the dollar. Look at the example of a $100,000 first and a $50,000 second. What if you're able to get that $50,000 second for $5,000? Now you just created $45,000 worth of equity. Then you take over the first by way of subject to, and get this. The first has to allow you to take it over because you're in a lien position, the second position. Even if the first doesn't want you to take it over, the only way they can stop you is if they pay off that second, and now you just created $45,000 in your hip pocket. That's right, top 5 motivated seller courthouse hacks. I hope you enjoyed this video. Charles Blair, the Mad Scientist, signing out, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.